So having done all these things, at the end of the day, you will find a question and you will be wondering, why do we have to do all these things in our life? Do we have to do all these things in our life? So why can't we come to our job, and why can't we do our job and go home peacefully without doing anything which I have mentioned earlier? Somebody might find this kind of thing an unnecessary thing in your workplace, practicing leadership qualities, practicing this kind of outstanding leadership personality trait. Someone might find these things as unnecessary things. Isn't it so? But there's a rationale behind that also. You know, the purpose of any activity in human existence is basically to produce something. It has been there since the early eras of human civilization. So this production may be even a whole pencil, a motor car, love, joy, maybe ecstasy, health, well-being, whatever. So it doesn't matter what we want to produce. So we want to produce something. So when we act on that, we want to do it in a much more effective manner. How small an act or how big an act is not that important. So it's a question of with how little, how much more you could do. So that is again the efficiency, because all of us have the same amount of time in a day. So you can make it more by increasing your efficiency, the way you function, including people as a part of yourself, where other people will function as part of you. So I'm coming to the point, to the rationale behind doing all these things in our life. So, but different times in the history, people wanted different things in the surface of the earth. So, but essentially, no matter which time in the history, everybody wants the same thing, that is the well-being, both physical and emotional, mental well-being and physical well-being. In pursuit of well-being, maybe 100 years ago, somebody would be going in search of water to gain well-being. Today, you are going in search of online health services to gain well-being. But remember, the core purpose is same. But people are only well and they feel well only when something beautiful happens within themselves. That means, if they think they are going to do something good, some good thing either to themselves or to others, they always feel happy. So that's the reality of life. So you can be happy by doing something good for yourself, and sometimes we feel happy doing something good for others. So some people be more happy doing good for others than doing good for themselves. So what the healthcare professionals, since the healthcare professionals are directly and indirectly involved with doing something good for people, for the society, and for the mankind, fundamentally, they become happier doing it more efficiently and effectively. Is that clear? So you are doing something good and you will become happy in your field. But imagine if you do it in much more efficient manner, what will happen to your happiness? So remember that another phenomenon in our brain, what we call the rewarding system of our brain. So whenever you do some good thing, your happy hormone levels will become high in concentration in your brain. Your rewarding system in your brain will be optimized. Your brain chemistry will become optimized. So if you do it much more efficient manner, say for example, you are treating 10 patients per day at the moment. You are giving your service for 10 patients per day at the moment. But if you use your leadership skills to do more efficient work, you will be able to gather some more human resources and physical resources to give your service for 150 patients per day using your leadership skills. So then what will happen to your brain rewarding system? What will happen to your happy hormone levels in your brain? Definitely it will upregulate it. Definitely this brain chemistry will be in a much more higher position, making you more and more happy. So it ultimately will make your body systems to function in a much more efficient manner. All your non-communicable diseases will wane off. You will feel both physically and mentally healthy. So that is the rationale behind doing all these things in your life. So as a human being, as a natural and healthy human being, we all expect our physical and mental well-being. So doing something using your leadership skills will not and will never be a waste. It's a very big investment for your physical and mental well-being and spiritual development. And it's kind of, as I told earlier, it's kind of achieving some stage towards your enlightenment. So don't hesitate to use your leadership skills to serve more and more people in an efficient manner. So then let's move on to the other topic. So what type of leader you are? So traditionally and theoretically there are 5 leadership styles people will end up during the climbing of leadership ladder. So I'm not going to explain the theoretical leadership style. So these are, for example, autocratic leadership, consultative leadership, or consultative leadership, or democratic leadership, and laissez-faire leadership styles. But you may have already heard of these types. I'm going to mention the different practical 5 types here now onwards. However, these different 5 types ultimately correlate well with the traditional classification as well. Okay? But what we need is a practical knowledge, but not a theoretical knowledge. So that, remember, leadership always is a ladder. You might have to move up and down, again and again in that leadership ladder to be in different types in the spectrum, depending on the environment, depending on the circumstances, and depending on the situation, and depending on the needs of the team or the team members, and depending on your goal. So there's no hard and fast rule to be in a particular type of leadership style. You can adjust yourself, you can adjust or amend your personality to suit to the situation. So you can select one or even few types of leadership styles during your career. So as I mentioned at the outset, leadership is the ability to get extraordinary achievement from the ordinary people. So I want to talk to you about how you can use these 5 different leadership styles to inspire your team to deliver their very best performance. So for that, first of all, you must have the ability to understand the circumstances and understand the environment first. Otherwise, you don't know what would be the leadership style which is most suitable for that particular circumstance. You got it? Yes. So here, there are 5 leadership styles. The number 1 is the structural leadership. In that case, everyone knows exactly what needs to be done and why it is need to be done and to what standard it is to be done, so that everything is structured. You accept complete responsibility as a leader for your staff. You choose them and you select them and you assign them to each structure of the hierarchy level and to each job category, and you manage them with the expectation of excellent work from them. So that is what we call the structural leadership. So this style allows you to make decisions without much input or much challenge of others, because everything is well structured. You know the job description of each and every person. You know the job specifications of each and every employer. So the structured style allows you more transactional step-by-step activities to occur. For example, rewarding or punishing a team member based on their performance can be done very easily because you know what has to be done. In fact, if it not has been done, it's very easy to pick up these weak points to punish them. And if it has been done in an outstanding manner, it's very easy to pick up that point for rewarding purpose. So that is the duty of structural leadership. You can use this style when your team is already kind of participated, kind of motivated, and especially for experts who need moderate direction. Or if you are a leader for a team of experts, you don't have to bother about their job description and job specification because these experts already know about it. So, however, there are very small disadvantage of practicing this structural leadership style, since there is no much room for flexibility for the employee. Using this style in a too much or more vigorous manner, or in a team that is not already motivated, that can lead them to feeling overwhelmed. So that is the only disadvantage of this structured leadership style. So in a hospital setup, we usually practice this structured leadership style, allocating their job specifications and descriptions to each and every category of the staff and expecting them to do the whole job description during their 8-hour shift. So remember, if we have much more workload to be complete during the shift, definitely they will get overwhelmed. That is the weakness. So let's move on to the other style, the participated leadership. In that case, you make your team feel that you really care about it by putting them first in front of you. So you always give priority for your team, for your employee. So you have to practice the friendship factor in this style of the leadership. A team which is composed of 3 components. So in the friendship factor, you have to allocate more time for them. You have to give more care for them. And thirdly, you have to give more respect at them and treat them in the same respect and patience and understanding, the same way you would treat a family member or a friend. So these three factors play a major role in this participated leadership, and you always give priority to them, and you expect care and concern for them and their problems, which fosters a feeling of quality, belonging, and ownership to the organization among your employees. So whenever there's a bond, they always feel ownership to the organization. They feel that it is my place, it is my family, it is my home, it is my friend. So they will work with a high degree of enthusiasm. So the style boosts your team's morale by allowing them to participate in decisions as well. And then it's very easy to achieve your goal. So their points and voices begin to feel heard. So you always listen to their voices, their opinion, and they feel then their voices are heard by you, which will help them adapt into changes very easier. So it also works best when you need fresh ideas or new perspectives in your workplace. You can get opinions and ideas from your employees used in this participated leadership. Allow them to participate for the management process. Allow them to participate for your leadership journey. So you can use this style during stressful times or even when you need trust. So to build up and maintain the trust. But if you use excessively this style, relying on it and nurturing this style, it can cause poor performance over time, because employees feel little lenient in front of the leader, and that can due to the lack of clear, strong direction for the company or your organization. So in that case, you have to adjust your strength of the direction and supervision accordingly. The third type is the servant style leadership. Servant means you are always working as a servant for your employees. So this makes the participative style little bit one-sided. So it almost resembles the participative leadership style, but the majority of the responsibility was to you, but not to their employees, not to your juniors. So you see your job as a means to serve your team, just as they are to serve you and to serve your company. So it's a more or less one-sided role. So in that case, you participate, you practice, you have to practice the golden rule of leadership. That means you manage other people the way you want and then you would like to be managed. That means if you have a boss, you have a way and you have some expectation from your boss. So there's a way you would like to be managed by your boss. So the same thing you have to apply for your juniors, your employees, under your supervision. So you are managing them the way you expect to be managed by your boss. So this golden role is always to come under the servant style leadership. And usually and basically you ensure that everyone understands their job fully and has all the tools and facilities they need before they begin. Otherwise, you can't practice this servant style leadership with lack of such tools and facilities. If they don't, then you have to offer plenty of learning, training, and improvement opportunities, facilities. So in this style, really we can elicit peak performance because your employees are learning vital skills that will both improve their performance and improve them as people as well. So their participation, ideas, and feedback also improves. Because you are giving them a continuous learning session and training sessions throughout your leadership. You can choose this style of leadership with diverse team, like in multidisciplinary healthcare approaches in a teaching hospital setup. Likewise, especially if you start a new ward, especially you start a mission with a totally new group of employees who need a lot of learning and training, definitely you have to practice this style because the whole responsibility lies on you, on your hand, to train them and teach them and to get the work done in a much more efficient manner. But the third style leadership is a great style to start with or to gain a great deal of respect, trust, and loyalty, and to build a strong culture within the workplace at the outset, especially in healthcare setup. For newly passing out doctors and nurses, we have to practice this style of leadership as supervisor. But at the same time, if you don't balance this style well, this could lead team to run slowly and with limited direction and vision because they begins to depend on you somewhat emotionally and physically for your supervision, and they don't feel that they are free to work. You continue to teach them, train them as for a kindergarten student. They will begin to emotionally depend on you, so they won't find their own paths for you, their own personal development, and they will always come after you, get it done from by. So that is the only weakness in this leadership style. Otherwise, it's a very good style to practice in your workplace, especially in healthcare sector. Other type, the freedom leadership style. In that case, you give your people the freedom to perform. Once you assign a task, you try to stay out of the way from them, only to comment and help them when needed, just to supervise them. Then and there, you take on more of an authoritative role by pointing the team towards a mission or goal. But similar to the servant style, you always leave the means of bond to each person. Remember, even in the freedom style, you never give them the total freedom. You always keep a bond, an obligation to your employee or subordinate. You can use this style when you have a tremendous expertise and have a team of highly experienced employees who don't require a lot of supervision. For example, if you are the medical director, if you are leading a team of specialist doctors, you don't have to supervise them frequently because they are experts. Sometimes some specialists know about the management and leadership and health administration even better than you. So in that case, you don't have to supervise them frequently. But then and there, you may have to give directions and authorities and advices regarding especially the ethical and organizational rules and regulations which they don't know. So that's more than enough. The freedom style will work well when your team is better experts than you. That is a hit. Fact, it is type of leadership style. So if you are dealing with team of experts who are better than you, the best way to practice the freedom style leadership. Otherwise, it can create unnecessary problems even. If you try to supervise them and lead them and manage them excessively, it can precipitate unnecessary problems definitely. For example, as I mentioned, supervising a team of specialist doctors, supervising a team of experts or scientists or researchers, so has to be done under the freedom style leadership. But for teams who need more supervision, this can lead to poor production, lack of regular feedback, and lack of control, obviously. So we have to identify first their expertness. Otherwise, if you practice this style for a team who doesn't have that much of expertness, that will be the beginning of new problems. Even they have the paper qualifications, degrees, and all that, and even they seems to be experts, you have to analyze their performance, personalities by interviewing them before allocating and before practicing this leadership, freedom leadership style. Then the final one, the transformational leadership. The style is transformational to everyone in the team, changing their personality, their thinking pattern, and morals by sensitively and positively influencing their thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So that is the basic theory behind the transformational leadership style. Of course, this is my personal favorite. The transformational leaders affect usually people's emotions by giving, or by rather painting, a big exciting picture of the future of the organization, giving an exciting picture about the future of the project. So in that case, you transform people by tapping into their hopes, dreams, and ideas. As I mentioned during the discussion of vision, this transformation always within their insight. You motivate employees by giving motivated yourself, by being motivated yourself, and you have to be an example for them. And in that case, you can enhance the productivity through high transparency and communication. So, high transparency and communication skills plays a major role in this kind of transformational leadership. Also, you have to have a sound knowledge about the human psychology, human behavior, sociology, and especially about the people's brain chemistry to practice with transformational leadership. And you have to have good communication skills, interpersonal skills, language proficiency to practice in transformational leadership. Otherwise, you can't practice. You can use this style to focus on building lasting or long-lasting personal strengths that make your teammates more successful and confident in themselves as well, the company. But remember, as I mentioned earlier, you can't practice this if you lack the proficiency in this content. If you lack the proficiency of the leadership qualities which are required to practice this transformational leadership, namely the personal skills, language proficiency, and other personal traits like as I mentioned. So if you lack this proficiency, you can't practice. So you can practice, but the outcome would be not that productive, efficient. At the same time, you can't practice this if your team is unwilling to change or unwilling to learn. So, there are different kind of personalities in this society. So, if you gather a group of people with that kind of abnormal personalities who do not wish to change or learn, they first need rehabilitation, they first need counseling, they first need to change their personalities before practicing in transformational leadership. Otherwise, you can't get good outcomes. So, there you have the 5 different leadership styles. Remember, the process of developing leadership style is simple, but not that easy, because nothing worthwhile is easy, but need continuous learning and practicing. So, the good news is that by developing this style, you will notice a change in your employees' work, bring your team to a great success, increase the productivity, and inspire people far forward. Definitely. Even within short period of time, practice it in a frequent manner. So, I hope this program will positively influence others in your environment. Definitely. So, this leadership style changing strategy will help you to lead your respective department processes in your hospital in much more efficient manner. So, as I mentioned, so in leadership ladder, first you have to decide where do you lie in this ladder. So if you have 50% of leadership skills, even by now, you can improve it to 80% by adding 30% of these new leadership qualities to your personality. Then spirit. So, if you are now having just 20% of leadership qualities, you have to work hard to achieve 80% target of your personality. So, it all depends on your current and your effort, your continuous effort. So remember, if you want to change your future, you have to take actions today itself. So that is the take-home message. So we are reaching and we are coming to the final thoughts now to end up in the workshop and the seminar. Leadership is a complex topic, of course, from setting goals to admitting changes. There are many ways to improve your leadership skills, as I mentioned earlier, throughout this session. Starting from the philosophical background, I have explained it, neurochemical aspect as well. So now you know in and out about this concept and framework. So it's important to remember that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to the leadership. So there's no that kind of shit on. So it's the customized self-development process that takes introspection, time, and commitment. You have to work hard, you have to practice repeatedly, be a good leader. Take productive outcomes. I think you all have learned something new, something interesting throughout this session. I think I have done a good job for you all. As a healthcare profession, I shared my experience with you all. So it's very easy for you all to teach this thing and to implant it inside your brain, since you all are representing the healthcare industry in different levels. You all have the experience in your healthcare industry. So it's very easy to communicate with all leadership matters to you. Finally, I'm very delighted to do this seminar, since you all are from healthcare industry. So I hope your feedback later. So please don't hesitate to give the feedback regarding the workshop and seminar. Thank you very much for your participation and have a good day.